Giving 100 people food poisoning from my mismanaged ghost kitchens. Wow, that's definitely some clickbait because there are several things wrong with that sentence, which is exactly what I'm gonna break down in this video. And who am I? I'm America's attorney, and what am I doing? I'm teaching you the rules of the game by talking about the latest scandal in the YouTube community. MrBeast has sued Virtual Dining Concepts for damaging his brand through the mismanagement of his fast food restaurant, MrBeast Burger. Let's break down exactly what his lawsuit alleges, including how much money he says he's owed and VDCs Response. To say that Jimmy Donaldson, aka MrBeast, is beloved by all is both an overstatement and an understatement. It's an overstatement because across all his channels, he only has north of 250 million subscribers. So not everyone on the entire planet. And it's an understatement because people use that exact same phrase, beloved by all, to describe people who have like 5,000 fans. So he's way over that threshold. You know, subscribing is what fans do. Subscribing is a way to show a creator that you care about their content. You hit the subscribe button. It's easy. It's free. Okay, now it says here to wait for an awkward pause. I don't get that. Anyway, MrBeast is truly beloved. So when he's alleging that someone did him dirty, people are gonna listen. So let's take a look at his lawsuit together. First, let's break down the elements of the claims. It's basically premised on 5 violations of the endorsement agreement and letter agreement that both parties signed back in 2020. Point 1 is that they have materially and irreparably tarnished MrBeast's brand. And this point directly correlates with point 5 of consistently serving inedible food and providing incompetent service, which irreparably tarnished MrBeast's reputation. To hammer their point home, MrBeast and his team provided an 85-page document attached to the lawsuit with exhibits of horrible reviews like, finally ordered our first MrBeast burger and then realized after the first bite that it was mostly just raw meat. And also, finally gave in to take my kids, got home, and the burgers were barely cooked. The kids seemed less excited to watch MrBeast. And so many more. At the very least, those reviews prove that inedible food was served and incompetent service has been given. How much did it really tarnish MrBeast's reputation? Well, his last video broke his own world record for the most views in 24 hours at 46 million. So you tell me what you think is happening with his brand right now down below in the comments. The lawsuit also alleges that VDC did multiple things without MrBeast's permission, like file international trademark registrations and create marketing materials that feature MrBeast and his brand without his permission. That sort of intellectual property, what's that word, theft? Is not what makes the food bad. It's the bad food that makes the food bad. But this extracurricular activity, tying the food brand to his personal brand, is what makes the bad food even more damaging to his brand. And that creates financial problems. The next alleged violation of the agreement is the failure to pay all amounts owed to MrBeast from the profits gained from MrBeast Burger. According to the lawsuit, MrBeast has not been paid a single penny. Is that right? Not a single penny? So his burger chain is like my YouTube channel? Awkward. Anyways, he hasn't been paid a penny in the last 2.5 years from the fast food franchise that he has lent his name to that's been running successfully, and multiple sources have claimed that the franchise has grossed over $150 million. Now that's a lot of potential giveaways. Now, this isn't about the food, this lawsuit is about money, as almost all lawsuits ultimately are, and a lot of money. But this is the perfect time to break down the 2 things that he's asked for in the lawsuit that are not about money. 1, he's asked the court to declare his rights under the agreement. See, he doesn't just want out of the restaurant deal, he wants to close the restaurants forever. And he's asked the judge to declare that he has the right to hang up a permanently closed sign. Not that they have to change the name, not that they just have to pay him money. He wants to shut it down. Now, the second thing he asked for that isn't money is an accounting. And of course, when you watch his videos, you might think he's an accountant's nightmare because he just gives money away, like cash. And he builds these sets that are massive and he uses them for one video and then poof, it's just another $1 million expense. But he's also a businessman and he knows that he's owed money from VDC, but he doesn't know how much. Well, courts have the power to compel a party to a lawsuit to turn over all financial records such that an accounting or a full financial report can be taken from a business venture. Because according to MrBeast, VDC hasn't been candid with its own accounting books, and he doesn't know how much money he's owed, but he knows it's a lot. But how much money? The lawsuit alleges a few more violations of the letter agreement, including not allowing MrBeast to appoint a manager for the business, failing to transfer shares of Virtual Concepts Holding to MrBeast Investments despite this being required by the agreement, failing to create an operating agreement, and failing to create a jointly owned entity. Now, these sound very technical and very businessy, but they are a big deal. These are necessary steps to running a business in an organized fashion. Okay, that's fine, whatever, but how does that matter to a lawsuit? Well, I'm glad you asked. When a term of a contract is material, i.e. important, if one party fails to perform, that can constitute a breach of the agreement. And if that breach is accompanied by monetary damages, aka lost money, well, that is something that you can sue about and win. Now, these are all pretty serious allegations, especially taking into consideration the hefty evidence provided in the 85 pages of exhibits. And you're probably expecting VDC to be off somewhere skulking, hanging their head in shame and disappointment over being exposed in such a public manner, because MrBeast has a massive platform. But you would be wrong, because VDC released its own statement early last week to address MrBeast's allegations, although I doubt you saw it. The much shorter document claimed that Jimmy's statements were false and disparaging. They were certainly disparaging. They were meant to be disparaging, as well as accused him of being greedy by attempting to bully VDC into a new deal for more shares of that company. Now, this was not a countersuit. It was just a statement. So we don't get as much detail about their legal defense strategy, but they do mention that MrBeast's fame has grown exponentially over the life of MrBeast Burger brand, in part because of the MrBeast Burger brand itself. I don't know about that. From that, we can tell that they are planning on denying that MrBeast brand was actually negatively affected by the raw meat and the missing items and the cold food and the late deliveries and the dead bodies. Oh wait, no, there were no dead bodies. That's a joke. They also take the time to mention that the negative customer reviews reflect a very small minority of the customers. However, the lawsuit alleges that more than half of the MrBeast locations have a star rating of less than 2 out of 5. The math, it just isn't mathing. Probably the best part of VDC's response is their little promise or threat at the end. We had hoped Mr. Donaldson would act honorably. Instead, having elevated greed over his word and the truth, he will face the consequences in court when VDC files its claims against him. Wow, sound like a cartoon villain. Can I lawyer this for just a second? This response from VDC, it's pathetic. Like laughably hilarious. He's publicly said he wants out of the business. He said in his pleading in court that he wants to shutter the business. If greed is wanting money or wanting too much money, then clearly MrBeast is not good at being greedy. And can I just say that he's famous, and I mean literally worldwide famous, for giving money away. For giving it away, not for keeping it. Give me a break, VDC. VDC says that a very small minority are claiming that the food was disgusting. Well, I would hope it would be a small minority. What a joke for these people. I cannot wait for them to countersue. What a clown show. So we have our players, we have our strategies, but who's winning this fight? Now, if you paid close attention to the claims that MrBeast is making, they are very, very straightforward and very technical. Dissolution, declaration of rights, accounting, and money damages. This is sensible, and there's no universe, literally no universe, in which MrBeast loses this case. As you know, most cases don't go to trial, however, and this one will not go to trial. This is the end of Beast Burger, so go get it while it's hot or cold. And Mr. Donaldson sued them for $10 million. And I say this with quote marks because he says it's at least that much. Who knows how much it really is going to be? But my guess is that the lawsuit probably settles for between $6 and $8 million. Or if you're a MrBeast fan and you want to understand what that means to his channel, it's funding for about 2 videos. That ending might seem a bit anticlimactic for people used to watching MrBeast survive on a raft in the middle of the ocean, but that's most likely how this is gonna go down. But who knows? VDC has threatened a countersuit, so maybe we'll find out some interesting facts if they follow through. I wanna know what you think. Drop your pro se opinion down below in the comments if you are raring for a fight. If you're ready for 7 days in trial video from MrBeast. I mean, it would be fun, I guess. And if that does happen, you can be sure I'll be covering it. So hit the subscribe button for more videos like these right here. And I will be back very, very soon.